Anil Ambani has issued a statement saying he's shocked by SBI's fraud identification committee order, clarifying he was a non-executive director, not responsible for RCom's daily operations, and has urged the SBI to withdraw the fraud classification. This after the SBI has decided to report the loan account of Reliance Communications as fraud in a case dating back to August 2016. SBI will also report the name of the company's erstwhile director Anil Ambani to the Reserve Bank of India. But for a background into this and the downfall of Anil Ambani, once the sixth richest man, let me quickly go across to my colleague Vishwanath Nair for a timeline of all of the events.
What has happened here is essentially there's been a case that SBI has filed. This is a fraud classification for Reliance Communications. This stems from a 31,580 crore loan that RCom had borrowed from multiple lenders led by State Bank of India. According to SBI's findings, funds were diverted through subsidiaries and associate companies for reasons other than what was actually present in the loan document, and therefore this becomes a case for fraud. SBI says that it has sent a report to the RBI, which involves, of course, RCom as well as Anil Ambani. We have to look at what Anil Ambani's checkered past looks like, because a lot of companies under him have actually gone into the insolvency proceedings and other issues that have faced these companies. The first of which, of course, is RCom, considering that we are talking about specifically this company. 2019, RCom was formally admitted to the insolvency. The case had been going on for much longer than that. RCom currently owes over 49,000 crores to creditors. A insolvency proceeding is ongoing. Creditors have finalized who the bidder is who's going to buy RCom, but the approval from the courts is still pending. We'll look at another company, Reliance Naval and Engineering, which went into insolvency back in 2020. This is, of course, a company that Reliance Group bought because that company was in stress, and then eventually Reliance Group's company also went into stress. It was actually it actually owed more than 13,000 crore to lenders. What it also did was it was actually acquired by Swan Energy back in 2023, according to public information that is available. Another company of the Reliance Group, actually one of the flagship companies, Reliance Capital, that was a big one. In 2021, the RBI actually sent it to insolvency because the company was undergoing severe financial stress. It owed lenders more than 40,000 crore. It was only in 2025 that Hinduja Group, which had actually been identified as the buyer a long time ago, but in 2025, they closed the transaction and they bought Reliance Capital under the insolvency proceedings. Outside of insolvency, other companies have also gone through stress, like, for example, Reliance Commercial Finance, which was sold to Autumn Investments back in 2022, and then Reliance Home Finance, which was also sold to Autumn Investments in 2023. So these are all the companies which have currently undergone stress. Of course, there's a lot of other storied history of Reliance Group companies undergoing a lot of financial stress, as well as questions by regulators. But of course, these are the important ones that we're highlighting today.
Right, Vishwanath, thanks so much for that. And to break this down further and give us a better perspective and understanding of the case, we are now joined by Dipali Pant Joshi, former ED of the RBI. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us this evening, and welcome to NDTV Profit. I'm going to cut to the chase. Your assessment of the process followed by banks when classifying accounts as fraud, especially in cases like this.
Okay, thank you very much for that, and thank you for having me on your show. It's very simple. You know, I used to be associated with the stress asset recovery group of the SBI. So I know a little bit about what the SBI does. So what the SBI essentially does is that first it has to look, before classifying an account as fraud, the SBI puts it under what is called an early warning system. And then it red flags the account. And then it is supposed to issue a show cause notice to the company saying that you're defaulting and, well, we have concerns. According to what I've just read, because I have no personal knowledge of this, SCN was issued the show cause notice by the SBI in December 2023, March 2024, and September 2024, and did not receive any reply. Now, the RBI is very clear on the reporting, timely reporting, and investigation of these companies. which are coming under early warning system or being classified. If they're over 25 lakh, then within 3 weeks, you have to report to the RBI. So the SBI in this matter possibly had no choice because they were not receiving responses from the company. And their early warning system is also coupled with an internal investigation. So RBI is very straight-jacketed in what it wants. There is a particular form, and the RBI also insists on all the principles of natural justice naturally being followed, which means that a person is innocent until he is proven guilty, and he also has a chance to represent himself before all the necessary committees and to give his side of the story. And if you recall, the Canara Bank had declared Anil Ambani's companies as fraudulent, but the Bombay High Court took a view that he had not been given an opportunity for personal hearing. So taking a cue from that, I presume perhaps the SBI has done this, but the RBI is very, very particular that this should be done. And there is a standard laid down format. It's called FMR1. That is the format for monitoring and reporting frauds. And this then goes to the Department of Banking Supervision within the RBI, which examines the veracity of the case. Now, the RBI, what does the RBI look at? The RBI looks at three things. What is the nature of the fraud? What is the quantum of the fraud? And is it duly established? So the RBI also does a kind of investigation into the papers placed before it. And there is a due process which is laid down, which is available in the master directions of the RBI and is for all and sundry. Now, what really, why this is a very serious matter? It's a very serious matter because once, you see, RBI will take a view. Now, I do not know what view the RBI will take. RBI also does not know the view it will take because it will do so only after examining all the reports submitted by the SBI. After that, the RBI, if the RBI chooses to declare an account as a fraudulent account, things become a little hairy for the promoter because the account is immediately frozen. The ability to access credit is impeded, is a polite way of saying that it just stops.
Okay.
So the entity also cannot access the financial markets, nor can it raise further finance. It's a total credit freeze. You would wonder why this is so, because the RBI is responsible for the entire financial system, the integrity and the systemic strength of the financial system.
Sure.
And it becomes a concern, even if there is one bad apple, that there may not be what we call a domino effect. So that it may, if it is allowed to access credit, it may drag in the other lenders in the process if it comes to grief. And surely the RBI would not allow the financial system to come to grief. Therefore, the RBI sequesters this account, complete credit freeze, because of the fear of, it ring fences it, because of the fear of the systemic consequences which may ensue. So it's also debarred from all the financial markets and all the capital markets. If this isn't enough, it is also open to the launch if a bank, you see the RBI also in the FMR, the Financial Monitoring Reporting System, asks 2-3 questions. Have you reported this to the ED, to the CBI, and to the investigating agencies? And if not, why not? And once it is reported and once they, the watchdogs are on the trail, then you're open to civil and criminal proceedings.
Okay.
Now, RBI's established framework also says that there is a central repository of information on large frauds. Because, you know, a small bank may otherwise claim that we had no knowledge of this. So this goes automatically into the systemic framework of the RBI, into the CRILIC, which is the large, the central repository of large frauds.
Would you say it's become more challenging for banks then to classify such kind of frauds?
No, it's become simpler because the RBI has given you a straight-jacketed format. that, Sanjana, that if your lender is defaulting consistently, if you're writing to your lender, you're not getting any money back from him.
Right.
Or he's just giving you like some stories. Or you have a real suspicion, because all money is fungible. That, you see, all money is given for a particular reason, for your expansion, for whatever reason. It's not being used for the reason assigned. And therefore, it is a concern. It comes under the early warning system that there are some signals from, consistent 90 days, over 90 days past overdue, and other things. And then it's red flagged. And
Right.
then it goes into its natural process, and the RBI says, well, if X, Y, and Z is not done, and if you give him, but you must give him an opportunity of hearing. You must hear his side of the story. And then, you must, of course, report to us. We, in turn, report to the CRILIC, and we report to the Indian Banks Association, so that no other bank gives any credit to this individual or this company. Now, the larger question to be examined is the culpability of, let us say, Mr. Ambani in this case. Was he an independent director? Because the rules are different for independent directors, for promoters of companies, and for non-executive directors. Because non-executive directors and promoters are seized of the issues relating to the company.
Right.
While the independent directors have the protection that only what comes before me is what
Got
I'm
it.
responsible
Got
for.
it. Dipali
So there are many-
Panjoshi, thank you so much for that perspective and that analysis. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but thank you so much for laying it out so simply and clearly. It remains to be seen what happens further in this case and how it's taken forward, and we'll continue to bring you all of the developments.